could hold the split board for any of the U.S. team.
All right, second pairing is our first full pair. It features Carl Titelli, the 17-year-old from Glen Ellen, Illinois, and Justin Stelly, the 34-year-old. There is Bonnie Blair Cruikshank. Her daughter, Blair Cruikshank, unfortunately tested positive for COVID last week, unable to skate here at trials, where she would have been an outside contender to make the team, but likely would have been a top 5 threat in both the 500 and the 1,000.
And I think the challenge for Blair Cruikshank, Bonnie, and her husband Dave's daughter is really looking to make a national team spot for the next training season.
Go look at Justin Stelly on the outside. He's raced in every event so far here at Olympic trials. And Carl Titelli on the inside. I imagine Justin Stelly's happy just to have a pairmate this time around. The way that the pairs had worked out the first couple of days, he was skating solo in the leadoff group.
Stelly is drawing some bad luck when it comes to these pairings, but he does have a pair in this 1,500 meter. Justin Stelly is a well-established inline skater. He's a gold medalist at the Inline World Championships in one of the sprint distances. And as you mentioned, he's competing all the way up and down the schedule, all the way from 500 meters up to 5,000 meters.
Lives out in the Salt Lake area now. He works in real estate. He became a dad this year to Hayden, so it's been a big year for Justin Stelly. And see a little bit of a mix-up in the crossover there. Stelly had to put an arm out to make sure that Titelli didn't run him down.
Yeah, and in fact, since Stelly was coming over the top, there is an off chance the officials could look at that and say Titelli interfered with Stelly's path and could get a disqualification. In this case, it's hard to know if they actually will call it, but there is that technical rule that could happen. You see that first lap, 27-4? It's a good chance for us to talk about these splits here again. In the men's 1,500 meters, the best in the world will open in a 25, then hit around a 27.0, and then try and hang on a high 28, low 29. But that's about the profile you see for most of these skaters. For Stelly starting that first lap off on the 27, he's going to want to keep the drop from lap to lap less than 2 seconds. He's going to hope to go faster than 29, and he does at a solid lead under 29, 28.35. This is a pretty good 1,500 meters for Stelly right now.
He's close to 4 seconds ahead of the time Shader LeBauer onto the final lap. Joe, I noticed on the last turn, when he was on the outer, he got very close to those outside boards. Do you want to use the whole rink, or do you try to skate the tightest line as you can here?
Well, there's obviously the trade-off. If you're going wider, you've got a longer distance, but not holding yourself as tight on these mid-distance races can help out.
1:51.22 for Justin Stelly. Not far off his best over the last few years. Puts him into first by a big margin.
And I think 51.22 for Justin Stelly, very respectable time. Again, the second half of the field, you're going to look to start seeing under that 150 mark. But Justin Stelly took some time off during COVID and coming back into the sport, getting ready for these trials. I think very good.
Nice. Just underway in the men's 1,500. Justin Stelly, your early leader. Joey Mantilla still to come as we continue on in Milwaukee.